If you truly want to express the magnificence of all that God is, and you want to finally live your life at the level that makes you feel the most fulfilled you could possibly ever feel, stop giving to the poor. That was the message that I heard just a few months ago while I was deep in meditation. Now, before, you let that completely rattle your brain and think that this has anything at all to do with financial or social status, I assure you it does not. And I hope that you'll let me explain that to you here. I was in meditation just a few months ago because I was feeling like I was in a cycle. I was in a pattern that I felt like, for whatever reason, I just keep coming up against this same thing over and over. It was, different players in the game and all of that, but the scenario just kept being the same in terms of what it was producing in my life. And so I was in meditation, I was very still and quiet, and I had just let myself be absorbed into that deep internal place of infinite intelligence where my soul resides. And the question that was in my mind was, what do I need to do so that I can move out of the way? And I'm talking about I, the little I, the personality, move out of the way so that you, my soul, this magnificence that is God, can fully express and accomplish your purpose here in this realm. And immediately the answer was stop giving to the poor. And of course, I had to sit there with it, just like you probably are right now, and get still, make sure I had heard what I thought I had heard. And sure enough, that message was affirmed. And as I sat in that stillness and in that quietness, I was given an explanation of what it was my soul was wanting to communicate with me. And my soul was helping me understand that there were places in my life that the reason that I felt stuck and I felt like I was like a hamster on a wheel in certain places in my life was because I was giving my attention, I was giving my belief to places in me that were holding on to ideas of deficiency, ideas of lack, ideas of not enough. And I have been in methodical practices for a very long time to establish and root into my consciousness the very nature of God, which is abundance, which is opulence, which is lavish, which is more than enough all the time. And so it's not like those things just take root and overnight you're cured of all of your scarcity and your lack. And my soul was making this very evident to me in this moment. There are still places in you where you have given your attention and your focus to these beliefs that are beliefs in deficiency. These are poor thoughts. These are poor ideas about you, about who you are, about what you're here to do. And because you are bolstering these ideas of deficiency and lack in you unconsciously, you are consciously bolstering these ideas in connecting with people in your experience. And you are affirming other people's impoverished ideas, their scarcity, their victimhood. You are doing that and you're not aware that you're doing it. And this is holding you back from experiencing the fullness of God, the magnitude of the goodness of God in your life. And boy, I was really taken aback by that because I thought, man, I have been working so hard. I'm sure that I have finally really absolved myself of all of these places of deficiency in me. And I can't say that once it was revealed that these were places that were so blaring and so obvious, they were very small. And you know what? They were masked in places where I believed I was doing something noble or I believed what I was doing was virtuous. That's usually how it is. It's always those little places where they get tucked away and they get covered up with masks of our personality that attempts to hijack the things that are spiritual and whole about us, and then put something around it that is so deceiving that we even deceive ourselves. And that's what had happened to me. And my soul was saying, stop giving to the poor. You're never going to get to the place that you really want to be in your life if you keep nursing these beliefs of lack and deficiency in you. And, in my life in that point in time, I was really like having this push pull inside because I was wanting to step into a new space with God, really. I really wanted to step into that bigger, more expansive space with God. And I was really in my thoughts thinking, how am I going to do this in a way that is beneficial to the whole? And so my thoughts immediately went to, how do I share this with people? How do I put this together so people can understand it and receive it? How do I help people get this? And my soul said, you are asking the wrong questions. You're giving into these ideas and beliefs that somehow you've got to create the way for people to receive all that God is. And it's just misguided. And my soul showed me how that the most important thing I could possibly do is to go live out the very things that I was thinking I needed to show other people how to do. Go live it. Go be this in the world. It's going to open up all of this possibility and all of this opportunity, not just for you. It ends up being the greatest contribution you could make to your fellow man. Because as soon as you open the door through your living out of the magnificence of God and letting that express itself and bring you into greater wholeness and into greater fulfillment, you open the door for so many people to have the same experience. And isn't that what you're really desiring? And in that moment, I was like, well, yeah, that's exactly what I want others to experience. How good God is, how powerful and magnificent and wonderful the love of God is in their life and what it can do and how it can transform them. And my soul said, and that's why you must get busy about living it. No longer giving your attention and your thoughts and your strategies to how you can make what feels deficient in you feel better and how you can pull other people out of their alleged deficiency. You have to go live the fullness of God, because nothing is more attractive in this world than seeing people living in a way that is so like, oh my goodness, this is available. You mean I could live that way too? You mean God could do that in my life too? You mean God could heal me too? You mean God could provide for me like that too? Yes. And so my soul said, this is your focus. This is what you're called to do, to reveal the glory of God. This is what every person is called to do if they choose it. There was nothing for me to concern myself with in terms of how do I share this with people? How do I tell someone this? My soul said, that's not your job. Your job is to go be that in the world. Go be the good in the world. And we've heard that before. And yet this for me in that moment just helped me get myself out of a rut that I had found myself in, cycling through how to create something that would be beneficial to other people. And my soul said, you don't need to create anything. God has already done that work. You go live the goodness of God. You go reveal God in your own life. See what God can do for you. You go see how God proves himself in your life, and others will see it and they will glorify your Father, which is in heaven. That's what the scripture tells us. And so it was just a gentle reminder for my soul. Stop giving to the poor. Stop giving to the poor, impoverished, deficient thoughts inside of you that make you scramble and try to figure out how you can be of service and of value to the world. You're alive. That's how you're going to be of service. Now, get busy living. Get busy living the life that God put you here to live. Get busy living the most magnificent life that God could possibly live through you. That is what we're here for. And that conversation in me, it just completely radically changed my perspective, not only of myself, but of how I had been living my life up to that point. What am I doing? I'm so concerned about how I'm going to connect with people. How am I going to support other people? What else could I do to help people out of their condition? And my soul said, stop bolstering this idea of deficiency in yourself and in others. People will rise to the occasion if they are given the opportunity. And it's time for you to rise. And this was such a pivotal moment in my life. It has really impacted me in ways that I can't yet even define, because there are things that are still in process in my life. But I can tell you the amount of peace I felt that day, the amount of fulfillment and satisfaction I felt that day, and just feeling what it felt like to finally live in my most fulfilled iteration, what would that be like? Who would I be? How would I show up? How would God express through me? That was my big question. How do I get out of the way? My soul said, this is how you get out of the way. Now, once you move out of the way and you stop fortifying those impoverished beliefs and ideas and thoughts about yourself and others, you're going to finally start doing what you were here to do. So I hope that encourages you wherever you may be in your life, whatever may be going on. Number one, stop giving to the poor. Stop giving your attention. Stop giving your thoughts, your concerns to the places in your life where you believe there is a deficiency or there could be deficiency, or you're trying to prepare yourself so that you don't ever experience deficiency. Stop giving your time and energy to the idea that that could even be possible, no matter what the past has presented itself, because there is an opportunity for you to step into a much higher iteration of who and what God made you to be. There is an opportunity for you to get your personality out of the way so that your soul can finally fully express itself in all of its brilliance, in all of its magnificence. I promise you, what your soul wants to express through you is so much bigger than anything you've probably imagined so far. So I leave you with that today. I hope that this has been helpful to you. If it has, like this video, you can comment below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I will be back next week with more.